So we're joining the pit lane with Scott Mansell. Scott, guest driver for the Ma7da for this round at Snet. How are we feeling going into this one?
Well, it's been a bit of an initiation, to be honest with you. I've not driven the car until today. Obviously, we've all had quite a lot of time off with the postponed season. Jumping in the car here at Snetterton today in tricky conditions in the wet here, there was a lot of learning to do, but I absolutely loved the car, and we've qualified P3, which is a good start.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, I did see you guys heading out on track earlier. Tell us the conditions out there. It looks slippery. Is it a challenge in these cars? Are they actually quite stable in the wet, or are they a bit of a twitchy one?
I think in any car around here, when there's a lot of rubber down on the normal racing line, it's always going to be slippery. And so the trick is with any car, and in these Mazda 7s, is to stay off that rubber, stay on the grippier line around the outside.
Well, yeah, your standard racing line. It is always the way. Of course, I've learnt that from karting. It's one of those. In terms of karting, these look essentially just like a big go-kart, don't they? Do they handle the same as that, or are they just as they are?
Well, they give you a lot of feedback. There's a lot of response, so they are similar to go-karts in that way. But obviously, because they've got suspension and you're out in the open, they're obviously a lot quicker. You get a lot of weight transfer and pitch change in the car. So yes, they are. You can feel sometimes like you're in a go-kart, but they also have the characteristics of a proper racing car.
Excellent. And of course, talking earlier, we were talking to some of the other guys. You've got your website, the Driver 61 resource. Talk us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I started Driver 61 about 3 years ago now, and it's an online resource for racing drivers to help teach them technique. And we have things like whiteboard tutorials and circuit guides. And the whole goal of it is to enable drivers to feel more comfortable and confident on track. So we train over 200 racing drivers a year, and we have millions of views on YouTube.
Brilliant stuff. Definitely might have to check that out, actually. It sounds quite good. Of course, with 750, a great organisation to get all these drivers here. It must be great to be back in the paddock.
Yeah, so I've been invited here by 750 Motor Club and Your Data Driven to create a video for our YouTube channel about how to get into motorsport. And I think it's an absolutely brilliant championship for that. Really friendly paddock, as I've seen so far, so it's really great to be here.
I've been walking around asking tons of questions to people, and they always seem nice and happy. It is great to see, but best of luck for today. We hope the weather holds out, we don't get any more showers, but yeah, well done, and good luck for today.
Thank you very much.
Well, the race gets underway now. Sadly, Ben Powney not there on pole position. We've just heard from him now, but we did have not seen him on the grid. So it's Jonathan Lister then, I think, that's making the break out in front in the number 71 car, but he's lost a place, hasn't he, already, as they make their way around Richie's Corner for the first time. Earlier on, it was Scott Mansell that won on the road, but a few exclusions for cars being underweight, I'm afraid, including Tom Robinson, Scott Mansell, Matt Groh, Sam McKee and Charles Boniface. So it was Jonathan Lister, actually, that took the race one win here. Looks like this is going to be an intriguing one.
I don't think Max was in this race either, so obviously with that issue, he's not able to race here, it would seem. So that, I think, opens this race up. Actually, you might just open this up race to Jonathan Lister, mightn't it? Because he had a decent gap to the others who are left. But David Winter here trying to take it to him, but it is Lister that leads as they turn their way into Brundle. Winter second, then it's Robinson who's come through into third place. A good start from him. Then it's Sam McKee and the rest. There's 27, Danny Andrew, who is ahead of David Mason and Matt Groh as they turn right towards the Coram curve now. And yeah, it's all a bit spread, isn't it, there at the front of the grid? Nobody close enough to challenge in the top couple. And Tom Robinson locks up, he's going off the road, so that might give Sam McKee a chance to come back at him. And everybody chases one another back to the line to complete the first lap, with Lister and Winter getting away.
Yeah, I imagine there's a few drivers that have been frantically getting ballast into the cars to make sure that they're above the minimum weight for this second race of the day. There's Sam McKee and Tom Robinson going wheel to wheel. Sam McKee around the outside of Robinson, a bit too wide though through Rich's Corner. That might allow David Jones through on the inside as well. But it's Lister leading, Winter in second place, and a bit of a gap back to third, which is everybody else basically. Headed at the moment by Tom Robinson. Yes, David Jones did get through into fourth position. Sam McKee fifth. Daniel Sibbons is sixth, but he now is under pressure from Oliver Batten, who was eventually classified third in the first race.
Okay, he's side by side at the moment. He's got some progress to make to get a similar result. So Lisseter and Winter, that looks like a good battle shaping up between them. And then it's the rest battling for third. Robinson ahead of a side-by-side. David Jones going well there, around the outside to try and grab fourth away from Sam McKee, but McKee hanging it on around the outside of Nelson. Then you've got Daniel Simmons and Oliver Batten in there too. That's 4 cars almost in the space of where only 1 car fits in some categories. Absolutely brilliant. This is great stuff here.
Yeah, superb racing from the Ma7da 7s. The 1.8 litre Mazda engine and gearbox being put into these sort of low-cost chassis. Many of them have been evolved from the cross-flow cars. We've got 1 or 2 cars off. Daniel Simmons is one of them, and Oliver Batten spins on the grass on the way out of Murray's corner. Gets it pointing more or less in the right direction again, so good marks for artistic merit for Oliver Batten, who rejoins the race and puts his hand in the air saying, what on earth was all that about?
A pretty epic save, to be
It
honest.
was, I enjoyed that.
Not quite sure what was going on that started it all off and sent him flying up the grass, but yeah, good recovery from what he had to deal with. What it means is Lisseter and Winter continue their battle. They know nothing about all that. And then it's Tom Robinson third. Now Sam McKee's the one that goes flying down the braking zone. He stayed on the tarmac, though, a bit of a bigger run-off there at Wilson. He's got Danny Andrew behind, the former low-cost champion, who's slow off the corner, so he loses the place to David Mason. That puts Mason 6th. But good effort here from David Jones up there in 4th place, chasing Tom Robinson.
It certainly is. So top 2 well away from the rest. Then it's Robinson in 3rd, Jones in 4th place, then another gap back to Sam McKee in 5th, David Mason 6th, Danny Andrews 7th, Daniel Simmons in 8th position, and he was classified 4th early on in the end, with the various drivers ahead of him being disqualified because of their cars being found to be underweight.
Danny Andrew loses another one, though. That's Daniel Simmons going up the inside of him. And then Stephen Kimber's just behind, I think. So good battle in the middle of the pack. Yeah. Here they are.
Danny Andrew, former low-cost champion, Sports 1000 race winner, of course. We saw him out yesterday. Didn't enjoy the most of look then, did he? I think he would be certainly an Sports 1000 championship contender this year. But not after the results he had yesterday. I don't think it looks like it's going to be between Yarrow and Morris. Back to the Ma7da 7s, and David Mason here down the inside of Sam McKee to take 5th place away.
Indeed, and that's allowing Robinson and Jones to get away in front of them, isn't it? Sam McKee looks back to the outside. Must feel a lot more open in one of these compared to the BMW that he regularly races. He'll be back out with us next month at Silverstone. So he gets back in the tow of David Mason and looks to re-challenge. Pops out the tow on the inside line, going up towards Brundle, and McKee's back into P5. And behind Danny Andrew, he's side by side, isn't he, with Daniel Simmons. Andrew, I think, up the inside, try and grab that position, but it's 5th there for Sam McKee, 36 and a 43. David Mason, then it's Andrew, who is now back ahead of Daniel Simmons. Charles Boniface going better this time, he's in the top 10.
Yeah, Formula V racer from last year, of course. One of the TSR prepared Mazdas, Team Sellers Racing. Cars making their way around Coram. 36 there, Sam McKee. 43, David Mason right behind him now. So this is the 5th, 5th and 6th. Mason carrying good speed out of Murray's that time. So I think he'll challenge Sam McKee along the centre straight and up into the right-hander, which is corner. Over the line they go, side by side just behind as well, with Stephen Kimber, I think, possibly getting involved with... No, it's Charles Boniface, isn't it, getting involved with Danny Andrew and Daniel Simmons, beg your pardon.
Yeah, good drive this from Boniface, much further up than this morning.
Yeah, good stuff.
Here's the McKee and Mason battle that continues. All big side from McKee out wide. There's Boniface against another ball. I think the re-passing, isn't it? Daniel Simmons there having a good little battle up front. Lisseter not getting away from David Winter, by the way, just 7/10 of a second. So
we'll try and pick up on that in a minute as well. There's the 12 car of Tom Robinson in 3rd place, about 6.5 seconds behind the leader at this stage.
Look, Danny Andrews gaining 2 here. He's passed first David Mason, then Sam McKee, and trying to follow him through is Charles Boniface. He's going to get Mason, so he slots himself between the battling cars. And joining in at the back of this group is another, is that Matt Grove? No, it's Daniel Simmons, isn't it? And he goes up the inside there of David Mason, so positions changing almost on a corner-by-corner basis here.
Yeah, Matt Grove there, just going in through shot there, number 34. Just briefly caught a glimpse of him. So Andrew now is the one making up some ground, up into 5th position.
This is a bit more perhaps what we expected from the Ma7da 7s, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. Definitely, it's very entertaining racing. Actually, up front, Lister and Winter separating by 1.2 seconds. Lister doing the best lap of the race on that last lap of 1:25.74. The best lap of the earlier race was 1:25.13 by Lister.
Great livery on David Mason's car, isn't it? Same livery as on the...
Oh, Charles Boniface has just gone past very slowly, past the pit lane.
I think he talked him up a bit too much, hasn't
Yeah, so I think he's going to go into retirement. Yeah, he's turned into the part firmo, I think. So he was running well up inside the top 10, but then problems have struck.
We've lost Lee Dolby too. He's looks like he's gone missing.
Yeah, looks like it, doesn't it? About halfway through this race now.
Now, is Danny Andrew catching David Jones for 4th, I wonder? Yeah, I think he is. Creeping up to him. Sam McKee and Daniel Simmons, they're back together. They were battling earlier, weren't they? They've been passed by Danny Andrew. We're interested, I think, to watch Andrew's lap time to see if he is able to close in on David Jones. Now he's ahead of those behind, but of course now the slipstream may well bring Sam McKee back into it, and he's right on the tail of Danny Andrew once more as they turn into Coram into the second half of this race.
Yeah, so it's Danny Andrew then, the blue car, very smartly turned out, sort of similar livery, isn't it, to the car that he's racing in Sports 1000, the Mattel.
I think it looks really good on this car.
It does. He's got Sam McKee then about to try and get through though, pulling alongside on the way up the centre straight. They're almost nose to nose as they cross the line that time. McKee going to be on the outside line though for the right-hander at Riches, but Andrew holds on. Sibbons right there as well, and then Stephen Kimber in 8th place. So Mason going backwards.
Late on the brakes there, Danny Andrew. Drifted a bit wide, maybe. He's 1.5 seconds away from David Jones. Now, if he can catch Jones, I suggest he might bring McKee and Simmons and potentially Kimber with him too. Certainly, Stan McKee is sitting right there in the draft, or he was until he popped out, looking up the inside. They start battling, they won't catch David Jones, of course. And McKee is keen to come up the inside. He's alongside, they're overlapping. Round the outside for McKee, is sideways, and look at Daniel Simmons, he's buying into it now. He's going to gain 1, he's ahead of Sam McKee, so that's a place lost in the end for McKee as he tried to gain 1.
Yeah, so Danny Andrew there in the Car Parts UK car, just ahead of 56 Sibbons now, and Sam McKee, who's done quite a bit of racing over the last 2 or 3 years, but not necessarily anything like this before, but racing in his BMW, mostly in road sports and Club Enduro races. So this is something a bit different, and now he's watching the 2 cars ahead of him go side by side, Danny Andrew and Daniel Sibbons for 5th and 6th.
I think it's his first sprint race, isn't it, which is a different discipline to the longer races. Here comes 18, Stephen Kimber up on the inside of McKee. Can't make that work quite, so they stay in the same order. Yeah, this battle is allowing David Jones just to eke away again. The gap's gone back out over 2 seconds, from 4th to 5th. The final 3rd now of the motor race. Just a quick rundown on the order. 71, Jonathan Lister leading, from 35, David Winter. 12, Tom Robinson. Oh, there's contact there, and that's Daniel Sibbons just collecting the back of Danny Andrews' car, and he has, I'm afraid, broken his car, and it's come to a halt just on the exit of Chapman Curve. That all happened. I don't know if Danny Andrew might have missed a gear on the exit of the corner, because he was slow off the corner, and that just caught Sibbons out, and it's broken the front of his car, unfortunately. Andrew's still going, but he's been passed by Sam McKee now. I wonder if there's some damage on the back of Andrew's car as well as a result of that. So to carry on the rundown of the order is now Tom Robinson, number 12, in 3rd, David Jones, number 50, in 4th. 5th now is Sam McKee, number 36. 6th is 27, Danny Andrews. 7th, number 18, Stephen Kimber. 8th, number 43, David Mason, I think, but that's changing now. There's a big dent in the back of Andrew's car. Here's what happened. Let's see if he may have missed a gear. They've got a car length between them. Coming out the corner, it certainly wasn't accelerating. Danny Andrew was looking down, wasn't he? Yeah. So there was some kind of problem, and he got absolutely clobbered by Daniel Simmons. He just wasn't expecting the car in front not to accelerate off the corner. No, I think that's unfortunate, but I don't think any real blame can be attributed there, because Andrew clearly had some kind of problem, and Simmons, unsighted, couldn't really predict that was going to happen. So it's a great shame that his race is over because of that. This at 1.6 seconds now ahead of David Winter. They've been pretty evenly paced, just not quite having the battle that they may have done The two of them quite a bit ahead of Tom Robinson, and a gap back to David Jones. And then Sam McKee now in a lonely 5th position. The battle's further back, though. There's David Mason, who's, like you said, he's dropped back, hasn't he, somewhat?
Yeah, and he's now behind Oliver Sy, who is up into 9th place as a result of that. So I presume Mason must have a problem. He's lapping in the 130s. He did a 127 earlier on. So that's probably what's gone on there. It's a bit of an issue for him. There's Sy now to get past Matt Grow as well for 8th place.
Yeah, so good this from Sy, who's raced Ma7das before. Ahead of him, Matt Grow, low cost racer previously. David Mason, local racer just a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, indeed.
Is McKee, who's sped up to the back of David Jones. That was what we said about a couple of second gap at one point.
Yeah, well, it was 1.2 seconds at the start of the lap. So Sam McKee here has got a second win. Did his best lap on the previous lap of 126.46, which was about 1.6. Well, yeah, 1.6 better, and he's gone ahead now, hasn't he? They're side by side. Sam McKee has gone through into 4th position there. So number 36 goes through. He is about 5 seconds behind Tom Robinson though, so I don't think he's got time to close that up in the last 2 or 3, well, probably a couple of laps of this race.
Was that a slower lap for Jones or a quicker lap from McKee?
Both, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, it's interesting. And now this gap for the lead starting to extend between Liceta and Winter. This is going to be Liceta winning 4 races in a row at Snetterton, isn't it?
Obviously didn't cross the line first in the earlier race, but the disqualifications for cars being underweight.
But before that, he sort of not had any kind of meaningful result.
No, well, he'd done lots of Club 100 karting before, but
car racing.
Fairly new to car racing. In the wet at Snetterton 300, he was brilliant, wasn't he, in those conditions? Something a bit different here. So 4 wins in a row at Snetterton in two different cars, effectively, powered by different engines.
Make it for another lap yet.
He does. Let's not count our chickens, but he is 2.5 seconds clear now of David Winter. So it's going to be a reliability issue, I think, if he doesn't win. He goes on to start his 11th and final lap then.
Winter in 2nd.
Lister's just done the best lap of the race, actually, 125.62.
Here's Danny Andrew still going. He's ahead of Matt Grow again. So with this dented rear end. Grow, though, trying to come back past him. What's happened between McKee and Jones? He's getting away, at least, Sam McKee.
He's a second ahead now, yeah.
And then the rest come through. Kimber in 6th, then that battle of the 7th we were watching between Danny Andrew and Matt Grow. They're 35, that's David Winter in 2nd position. I think when he raced last year, he wasn't quite running to the Ma7da 7 spec,
no,
was he?
No, he wasn't. He was within Class B of Sport Specials, but to a different specification.
Now running here and running well in 2nd place, although he's dropped quite some time in these last couple of laps.
Yeah, but he's a long way clear of Tom Robinson, isn't he? So the first 3 relatively spread out now. 4th and 5th, well, Sam McKee's put some daylight between himself and David Jones by the looks of it. So he's going to get a 4th position. Obviously, he was disqualified early on, sadly, for his car being underweight, but I'm sure he still enjoyed his race. Turning their way through Brundle and Nelson. A bit further back, you've got the Danny Andrew car with David Mason and also Matt Grow behind him. But here is Jonathan Liceta there now of Murray's for the final time, the 11th and final time. Up towards the checkered flag he goes, which is ready. So 4 wins from 4 at Snetterton for Jonathan Liceta. Many congratulations to him. He wins round 2 of the Yokohama Ma7da 7 Series. 2nd place going the way of David Winter, and quite a gap back to 3rd position, and that's going to be Tom Robinson. And here's the battle involving Danny Andrew.
David Jones has fallen behind Stephen Kimber, so obviously an issue here for Jones. Is he going to hang on to 6th? He's being caught and caught and caught by Danny Andrew. There's Kimber, who got 5th then behind McKee, and is Jones going to hang on to the top 6? He does, which I think he would still be pleased with that result. David Jones, 6th position, but a bit of a shame for him to lose so much time right at the end. Jonathan Liceta, our winner, very happy indeed.
Yeah, certainly was. 5.3 seconds his victory margin in the end, so let's give you a rundown of those results. So number 71, Jonathan Liceta, it was that took the win then from number 35, David Winter in 2nd place, 5.3 seconds the gap. 3rd place went to number 12, Tom Robinson. 4th place to number 36, Sam McKee. 5th to number 18, Stephen Kimber. 6th, number 50, David Jones. 7th, number 27, Danny Andrew. 8th was 34, Matt Grow. 9th, number 43, David Mason. And 10th was number 98, Oliver Sy. And some very good racing to be found throughout the field, really, in the Yokohama Ma7da 7s on their standalone debut this weekend.
Yeah, I think the middle of the grid really showed us what we can come to expect with this new series, as we heard from Ben Powney, more cars with quick guys out there later on in the season. So I think we've got some good races looking forward to coming up. We'll see if I don't think the decision's been made yet, really, has it? Whether there be standalone races or races within sport specials for the remainder of the season.
We will see. Scott Mansell, the reason we didn't see him out there was because of gearbox problems in the first race, so that's why we didn't see Scott Mansell out there for that time. Anyway, 2 more races to go. Coming up next, we've got the Gas Shocks 116 Trophy, which is our 90-minute endurance race, and we'll round out the day with the Tagiwa Type R Trophy as well. But first of all, we've got the cars to get into the pit lane at the end of that Yokohama Ma7da Sevens race. Done their slowing down lap. They've thanked the marshals on their way around, given them a wave, and we should shortly have down the pit lane our race winner, Jonathan Lister. And when he gets there, he will speak once again to Anthony Jordan.
There's coffee. I don't know. So, Jonathan coming into the pit lane. Well, Jonathan, that looked like quite a fun race for you.
Yeah, it was a good race. Yeah, I mean, we had a good race this morning. It's such a shame that Scott and Ben couldn't make it, but yeah, we were having a good battle in the beginning, and I was just trying to pull away, just get my head down, qualifying laps, and yeah, it worked out all right. You know, it was good, really good. Probably a bit boring for you lot to watch, but
well, any motorsport is fun to watch, even if it's close or not close. But for the front of this one, it looked like, yeah, you had your head down, concentrating hard on that one. You know, we had the drama in the previous race at the end where we had quite a few of the cars coming underweight, so penalties went out, quite a few. And hopefully everyone's learnt their lesson in that one and put a few extra kilos of lead in this one. Did you have to adjust anything at all?
No, we were all good. Yeah, we were a couple of kilos over. Yeah, so but yeah, no, it was great. I've got to say thanks to the team sellers, lads, and they built a great car.
Excellent. And of course, you've come up from karting as well. You did Club 100, I'm pretty sure, haven't you? You've come from that, so great to see the transformation from that to this.
Yeah, no, I've done Club 100 for a few years now, and last year we did as a first season in low cost, and yeah, no, karting definitely helps.
Excellent stuff. Well, again, congratulations on the win, and yeah, we'll let you head off to scrutineering.
Yes, thank you.